YouTube family. How is everybody doing? Sorry I'm late, but where I live, it's like really super nice outside, so I wanted to get outside. So, I'm going to shuffle from my deck that I made. If you're tuning in here live, thank you for tuning in live. If you are watching this on replay, thank you for tuning in on replay. I'm getting over a cold, so I apologize for my voice if it cracks. Tonight, this topic is really close to my heart. Alignment. And I feel probably the most aligned that I've ever felt. Well, not ever felt, but the most aligned that I felt in a long time. Get rid of this. Sorry. I want to get rid of that. There's a message on the bottom of my phone about welcome to live chat. This is a safe space, and feel free to comment with comments that are related to the topic, please. If you don't know what the topic is, and if you're just like hopping on, always ask, what's the topic if you're just hopping on? It's alignment if you're just hopping on. So I have probably felt the most aligned in a very long time. I have been struggling with something, a challenge, a struggle, a fork in my road for the last 3 years. And things were kind of going not in the direction that I wanted them to go in, but spiritual or not, the universe is going to put things in your path, and they know the way. And spirit, spirit and the universe, ideally, like by default, they want us to be aligned. And they're going to do things to get our attention. Now, you can surrender to the universe, and things become a lot easier. Hello from Russia. Yay! I think they say my name, my name is Tanya, and I think they say Tatiana in Russia. I don't know. Is that Hollywood, or is that truth? Anyways, hello. Hello from Wisconsin. So the universe is going to put things in our path, whether we surrender to its help or not. Hi, Scott and Kat. And if you surrender, your path is going to have less, whoopsie daisies, and it's going to have less detours, and it's just going to be smoother. And not that you won't have to do the effort and put the work into it, but it's almost like, not really training wheels, but like having somebody drive for you, like a driving Miss Daisy. That's how I explain how life goes when you surrender to alignment. So what it means to me, being in alignment, I'll say what it feels like, because I think that's going to resonate with more people if I just say what it feels like. So alignment feels like peace. It feels like, and this does not have to be like, you don't have to be spiritual. You do not have to follow a spiritual lifestyle. I do. But you do not have to follow a spiritual lifestyle to feel aligned. You can do other things. You can do the same things and other things to get the alignment. I surrendered to a spiritual lifestyle. I surrendered about 3-4 years ago, and there are days where I feel like, oh my God, I don't want this type of lifestyle anymore. But once you surrender, I have noticed that it makes it very difficult to turn it off. You can kind of dial it down, but in my experience, my opinion, I have a hard time turning it off and changing my mind and making a U-turn. You can slow it down, you can kind of take a detour and a pit stop, but once you surrender to this kind of lifestyle and you start dealing with your shit and you're dealing with your shadows, you can't really turn it off. You can turn it down, but you can turn it off. And I don't know why anybody would want to turn it off, because once you get back into alignment, things start synchronizing. Your body feels better, you sleep better, your digestion is better, and just flow is better. Your intuition is more spot on. Things just happen to you, and you don't even really have to try to you don't even have to hardly manifest for the things to start happening. If you do manifest, those things are going to happen. But like I said, if you're not following a spiritual lifestyle and you just do things that put you in alignment, you're going to start noticing things. So it also feels like flow. It just feels like, not that anything doesn't bother you, but when they do, and when like, I'm going to use the word triggered. If you don't like that word, it's just what resonates, what gets people's attention. You can refer to it as a short-term struggle. Is that better? Trigger gets people's attention when you say it. When you are triggered, or when you're activated, or when you have that short-term struggle, it's almost like you immediately by default want to tap into those tools and those tricks and those tips that you've been learning along the way. And it's almost like default, where you're like, oh, okay, this is happening. Instead of doing this, which is going to bump me out of alignment or make me vibrate at a lower frequency, I am going to use my tips and my tools in my toolbox, and I'm going to do those things, raise my vibration, let shit go, forgive, give yourself grace, give that person grace or the situation, and move forward. That's what alignment feels like. It starts with, like I said before, it starts with yourself. And realizing that the past is the past. We cannot control it. We cannot change it. We can accept it, learn from it, and move the fuck on. Let it go. This is a hard one for me, to be in the moment. That's when I've noticed the most, because my New Year's resolution, I do not practice tarot. I do oracle cards. Just to let you guys know, I'm doing oracle cards, not tarot. And I've been practicing for about 3-4 years, and this is the deck that I created. It is not a tarot deck. It is an oracle card deck. Side note, an oracle card deck is more author-based, where these cards have my own meaning, but you can interpret them as when you're using the deck. Otherwise, tarot is standardized. There are certain cards that mean certain things, and then if they're upside down or backwards, and then other cards pulled with those cards also mean something. So I do not practice tarot at this time. Thank you for asking. Off topic. What was I saying? Something about alignment. Anyways, so my New Year's resolution this year was to practice being in the moment, because through therapy and through intuition and really dealing with my shit, really going inside and dealing with my shadows and my triggers in my past, I have noticed that it's really hard for me to not dwell on the past and to not dwell on the unknown of the future. It's really hard for me to be in the moment. And as I dealt with my shadows and cognitive therapy, I realized that I was always like, it's kind of a fear tactic, like it's a coping mechanism to stay either in the past or in the future, not being in the moment. And so what that does is it prevented me really prevented me some memories of my childhood, and just memories of like probably, the last, I'm 50, so however long that I have been using this coping mechanism. Yeah, and so I realized this year, as I had set that New Year's resolution and that intent to manifest that it was like, holy cow, I have been missing out on so much in my life. And I have actually been trying to really work at purposely putting myself into the moments, and just like, okay, I'm going to be in this moment. I'm not going to think about the past. I'm not going to worry about what's going to happen in the future. And it's really helped me remember like what I'm doing in that moment, and enjoy it. So that's for me, that for me is the alignment that I'm talking about, that I have not experienced probably ever in my life, being in the moment. So comment on here if you struggle with being in the moment, and if you do struggle, I can help you with that. Okay, we're gonna pull a card, and this is from the deck that I created. It's $25. It's on Etsy, or you can reach out here if you don't want to go to Etsy. It comes with a guidebook. It has 40 cards. Some of them, for the most part, they're in anime theme. And I created the images using AI, and I intuitively channeled the messages in the guidebook. So I have cleared the deck. I've cleared my energy and spirit. I command you use me as a conduit and bring forth some messages that we can use for tonight's topic on alignment. What can you tell us in these cards about alignment? You use them for yourself. I use these for my own reading, and I also do personal readings. So I use them for clients. Ooh, this is a good one. It totally makes sense. I'm going to pull a couple. Okay. This is so cool. I'm just going to pull 4. This is so cool. Okay. So how you know you're not in alignment is by feeling not so grounded. And that's the first card. So feeling grounded is kind of like feeling alignment, but we need to practice grounding every day. Every you should find a way, and I don't care what you want to call it. If you just want to call it like your nighttime ritual, or your personal private time, your download time, your escape, whatever you want to call it. But I call mine grounding. And that's where I will connect with in the shower, in the water, in the shower. And then I also kind of let go of the things that I thought, my thoughts that have made me feel sad or negative. Oh, excuse me, my nose itches. 1 second. And so I use that. You can also like take off your shoes and socks and actually physically go out and walk around in your yard, or at the beach, or in the, a form of water. But get grounded. Grounded will help also with the physical part of alignment. And because that is when your emotions, alignment is when your emotions and your physical and your nutritional and your spiritual and all the aspects of your life, you kind of mix them all together and you embrace them all, and then you move forward with it in life. So look at the second card, flow, being in flow. When I'm in alignment, I feel like when I'm doing the lives, like my my articulation and my mannerisms are just continuously on flow, and I don't like stammer so much. That's what being in flow means to me, and feels how that feels to me. Also in alignment is we manifest and we ask for things from the universe, or from ourselves in our lives, or from others. And you do things. This is how I live my life. I put intention into everything that I do. It doesn't have to be grand, it doesn't have to be exciting, but I put intention into everything that I do. When I make something for someone. So if you follow me long enough, you'll know that I'm very crafty and I make a lot of things. So when I'm making it, just the things that I'm thinking about in my head of how this person that purchases this particular item, or that I'm going to give it to, I put thought and like love and light into my thoughts as I'm making it. So as I'm making the item, I'm infusing it with love and light and my vibration and my energy and my comments and my quirkiness. And I feel that when the person is drawn to it, that sometimes helps. It sometimes helps with it's like the law of attraction. They're attracted to that object because of the energy that I have put into it. So that is how you can also tell with alignment based on your intentions. Put intentions into everything. And then this one is interesting, this wave card, because in life we are going to have waves of emotions, and sometimes they're going to come in and knock you down, but sometimes they're going to come in and kind of push you along. So there's balance. So when you're in alignment, you feel balanced. You don't feel too sad or too happy. And when you do, like I said before, you find when you are triggered or when you do have those intensities of the emotions, it's almost like by default when you're aligned that it's just easier to kind of to navigate through them because you're integrating what you've learned along the way. Okay, so I'm going to read from the book, and I'm trying to look at the numbers 34, 19, 4, and 6. I think I'm going to read about flow. And that's number 19. So here's the card again. And then I'm going to pull from another book, another deck. Submerging yourself into the power of purity and allowing it to flow through us is what water can do for us. Even before we are born, we are grown in the water of our mother's womb. When we were young, how fun it was to play in water. Our toys would float. We splashed the water with our hands, but it does not hurt. The warmth of the water soothes our tense muscles and relaxes our minds. When we are older, we enjoy the water to float our bodies, to feel lighter. We use the water to cook, to clean our house and our bodies. We use water to float our boats so we can fish. Water flows in all of us. It feeds our body, purifies the soul, and relaxes the mind. When we are in a natural flow state, our stagnant energies trapped inside our emotions can leave our body gracefully and gradually. That sums it up, how you feel when you are aligned. Your stagnant energies that are trapped in your body can leave our body gracefully and gradually if there's flow. I like that. I like that a lot. Do we have any questions? Do we have any questions? Nobody's watching. We lost some. We lost people. That's okay. We'll get them back on the replay. Some signs, some other signs when you're out of alignment is if you do, we all have intuition. We all have that gut instinct. And so sometimes when we are out of alignment and we are not using our intuition, sometimes, or if we are doubting our intuition, sometimes it can feel a little wonky, and ego can get kind of involved and interpret our intuition. I have experienced this personally. and how I've get myself back into alignment so that I'm not thinking that my intuition is coming from my ego side, but from my love and light side, is I will almost like purposely force myself to make time to go into a meditative state. Because I'm a super empath, which means I'm on all the time, it's really, really hard to turn off my my empathy. But I have learned along the way how to set boundaries, how to clear my energy, how to protect my energy. So, but I'm always on just a little bit. And so I have noticed that when I'm out of alignment, that I can kind of, it kind of feels more, when it's more ego based, when it's more ego driven based intuition, it kind of feels kind of bitchy. But I also have to remember that I'm stubborn and that I have to get into that meditative state and really bring my my body to a calmer state than it normally is, and also my mind, and really quiet the mind, and that way I can go in and like start asking the questions. Oh, like, okay, I was getting this, can I get more information? So that is how I know when like using my intuition is kind of out of whack, and I really just need to go into a meditative state. Does that make sense to anybody? Please comment on here if you meditate. And I am doing free readings for one person that watches a video, whether I'm if you watch it here on the Intuitive Minds YouTube page, or if you watch it on the Facebook Intuitive Minds Already Know Facebook group. You have to comment either on Facebook or here on YouTube, free reading. And your name will go in for a random drawing. Okay? At the end of the month. So comment on here, free reading, and your name will go in. Your name will go in to a free reading. We can, and I can do it remotely. We can do it right away remotely, or I can do it and pre-record it and then send it to you. Some people want to interact real time, and some people want to take their time with the messages and listen to it, you know, at their leisure. So Spirit, I cleanse these cards. I cleanse the energy of these cards. I'm going to pull a couple, and I want you to send some intuition to me so I can channel the messages from these cards based on more alignment. So we talked about what it is. We talked about how we're out of it. Now let's talk about how to maintain it, maintain alignment. We pulled the grounding card. However you guys practice grounding. Okay. Ooh, Wizard of Awareness, Flying, Field of Dreams, and Metamorphosis. All right. What are we feeling here? So this is the Wizard of Awareness. Well, this one screams like pausing. Really pausing and asking, you know, why you're feeling the way you're feeling. If you're not feeling aligned and you're experiencing anything that is making you feel, you know, uncomfortable, discomfort, you know, not in the best way. So if you're feeling too tired or too emotional, too happy, or I'm sorry, can't be ever too happy, too sad, too angry, too triggered, just low vibration, feeling blah. Ask yourself those questions. Journal. Journal is a great way to practice grounding because we put our phones down, and there's some science with putting pen to the paper. So get out a journal and start asking yourself your questions. Those questions. Even if you don't get all the answers or any answers, by writing them down, you are putting them into the universe by taking the time to write them down and putting them into the universe as an intent, as a question, and you will get them back. You might not get them back by journaling, but you might get them back in a song or a letter or an email or some kind of random message or a billboard or a license plate. Chances are, if you write them down and ask, you will get your answers. Flying. And it's interesting because there's like spirals here, which spirals mean like there's time is secular. It's not linear. Which means some things that we have experienced in the past, if we don't heal from them, they're going to come back around, because that's how karma works. What comes around goes around. So if you don't heal your shit when spirit is pushing you to heal it, chances are it's going to come back around. I like this card. Every time I get this card, it just makes me feel like tapping into my inner child. My healed inner child. Not my wounded inner child. My healed inner child. Flying. It's got the streamers. Like, oh, that's like the flow. Like, you feel like everything just kind of goes in the wind. It comes and goes. It's soft. It's bubbles. It's here. It's gone. No big deal. And really appreciate in the moment, because how often there's like I think this is, it looks like a hummingbird. And I'm in the Northwest. I'm in Wisconsin. So even though there are hummingbirds here, it's still rare unless you have a feeder out. I don't have a feeder. But they're still really rare. So this card is like telling me, get more playful. Get more playful. Tap into some of the things that you used to do as a child. You do not, play games, color, do puzzles. I like that. And like really appreciate like the miracles, because there's like a rainbow, and this is like a unicorn. So like appreciate what this card is telling me with like the miracles is like, there's miracles in everything that we see and do. The miracle of it is taking the time to appreciate it. That's the miracle. Okay, the next card is Field of Dreams, and it's a bunch of fairies sitting on some eggs. And the number is 21, and there's butterflies. There's a butterfly on this cracked egg. So this card is kind of telling me, it's kind of going along with the miracles and the unicorn. And Field of Dreams. So dream big. The bigger the better. I manifested this year that I would have 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, because go big or go home. And I thank my 62 subscribers that I have right now. Someday I will have 10,000. I know I will. I said when I first started that I'm a huge Colette Baron-Reid. She does Oracle card book decks. And I said one day, this was years ago, that I would have my own deck, and now I do. So thank you, Colette, for giving me the inspiration. This card says dream big, and dream, like manifest it, plant the seed, and then let it go. And let the universe, because like the fairies are sitting on top of it, you know, like plant the seed, and the fairies are gonna, like, they're gonna take care of it for you. And remember that when we manifest things, not always does spirit and the universe get it the way that we are picturing it in my mind, or in our mind. And when you write it down, this is what I have learned. When you manifest, you write down specifically what you are manifesting. So if you say, oh, I want a big house, okay, the universe has a very different definition of big. So be specific, like how big, just, you know, how many bedrooms do you want? And be specific, like write down the size of the bedrooms. Like, I'm not shitting you. When you manifest, you have to be specific. And I really like this last card because we got like birds and butterflies, and now we have more butterflies and a metamorphosis. Oh, my nose is so itchy tonight. Metamorphosis. Well, that is like a transformation. And something to think about when you are in a spiritual lifestyle, or whether you're just trying to be more self-aware, you're trying to love yourself more, you're just trying to be a better person, whether you surrender to a lifestyle or not. You are going to go through phases of transformation. There are going to be things in your life that will no longer please you. There's going to be things that you don't like anymore, or that you liked before, that come back. And people are going to come into your life, and people are going to leave your life. So remember, when you start living in alignment and start living authentically, that's what, another thing how you can gauge on alignment is, are you living your true authentic potential? Are you being really honest with yourself? Because that's another way of gauging when you're not alignment, is when you start not practicing what you preach, and you start being two-faced, and you say that you believe this, but then your actions say something else. So your actions and your words need to align as well. They need to match up. So get ready. When you're in alignment, get ready for transformation. And that's where the growth happens. It might feel like you're being bounced out of alignment just because it's your body's way, and the nervous system is going to be, oh, this doesn't feel like coping anymore. This actually feels like growing. This actually feels like being authentic. This feels weird. But remember your tips and your tools in your toolbox, and go back to what has worked before, and just keep allowing and letting go. Surrender, allow, let go. Surrender, allow, let go. And then just keep repeating. Go back to your grounding, to your journaling, to all the things that you bring you peace, bring you joy. One thing a day. Do one thing a day that brings you joy. That is how I maintain alignment. I'm going to read from the book for that one. You are in the process of deep and beautiful change. Butterflies earn their wings through great effort. The process of change is often painful, for it is never without losses and sacrifices. If you are to transform from one form to another, a part of you needs to die. Letting go isn't easy, especially when you're used to thinking a certain way about your life and how you live it. Just as a snake sheds its dead skin, or a caterpillar dies so that a beautiful butterfly can be born, you're required to release your old ideas and embrace a necessary change so you can live your best life. Perhaps you're being asked to let go of low self-worth, a dream that no longer serves you, a relationship that is draining, or unhealthy habits. Despite your fear, you must accept that this is a transformational time for you. There will be some loss involved, but you'll love what you become. I really like that. That is really nice closing. So as always, I want to thank everybody who watched it on live and who has watched it on replay. Remember to comment on the comments, free reading. And at the end of May, I will be pulling one random name out of a hat, and I will be contacting you. I do readings. They are $40, and right now I'm doing a promo. So if you book a reading with me and you want the deck, it's $50. So you get a $25 reading and a $25 deck for $50. That is the bundle right now. Otherwise, a reading with me is $40. It is $40 if it's in person, and it's $40 if it's pre-recorded, and then we get to talk in person if you want after that. So eventually you'll get to interact with me in person. Okay. Thank you all. Go to the Facebook, join Intuitive Minds. Already know on the Facebook page as well. We have to get to 10,000 subscribers on here, folks, by the end of the year. So I love you all. Thanks for watching. See you again. Bye.